We are the newest addition, I think, to the Eau Claire brewing scene. 620 gallons in a batch. We opened in the spring of 2015. The culture of beer, I think, is very strong in the state, really. And I think the craft beer side of that is really starting to catch on right now. The growth of small breweries in this country is more of a reaction to the bland beer that had been produced in this country for decades and decades. There were a lot of people who went overseas, went to Europe, tried a lot of traditional full-flavored beers and came back here and couldn't get them anymore. Yeah, this is enough to make about 20 barrels of a 8% alcohol beer. American craft brewers over the last few decades have really been pushing the envelope in terms of experimentation with beer and opening people up to even newer flavors and newer ideas that had never really been done in beer before. And it's that experimentation that I think has even taken it to the next level. That's why people are so interested in craft beer right now. Really not a whole lot of fields where that kind of creativity and experimentation is happening. Smells pretty good. Well, we're mashing in right now on a batch of IPZ, so we're just combining grain and water, first step of the process. This is kind of my office on days like this. I spend most of my time up here. Lots of knobs, lots of buttons, lots of valves. People either say I look like a mad scientist or I look like I'm on a spaceship or something. Brewing stretches back through history, thousands of years. They obviously didn't know anything about the science of brewing. They knew that if we combine these ingredients in this way, something magical will happen. So today we're at kind of a halfway point between that medieval magical brewing and modern scientific brewing. With craft beer, what we're doing is obviously scientific, but there's a lot more creativity and free license involved in it. You see it's quite cloudy right now, and over the next few minutes this will actually clear out and get really nice clear, actually start to look like beer even though it's not beer yet. The main reason we didn't call it the brewing company, called it a project, is because we wanted it to be kind of a fluid thing. You know, a lot of breweries brew a handful of beers. Starches in the barley break down. And they try to brew those beers very well. We're trying to brew a really wide range of beers. We've, in the last year, made over 50 different beers. We've packaged almost 20 of them in cans or bottles or kegs, which is something that a lot of breweries our size don't do, because we're really just trying to push limits and experiment and brew beer styles that people haven't really had before, stuff that hasn't really been done before, especially in this area, and just trying to set ourselves apart from the sea of breweries out there. So this is a different variety called El Dorado. It's a newer hop variety. Just came out a couple years ago. People describe it as candy-like almost. We brew with a lot of strange ingredients that I think people they're kind of thrown off by them first. One of my favorite things to do is take a very traditional European style that's been around for hundreds of years and give it a new twist. One of our beers that I think has really won people over is a beer called the Stolen Mile. It's brewed with lemon zest and basil. And people look at it and they think, basil in beer, that just sounds awful. And then they try it and they actually really like it. We have a beer that we brew with raspberries, Ecuadorian chocolate, and chipotle peppers. And we also have a few really traditional beer styles because, you know, sometimes you just need a really good solid Oktoberfest or something like that. What we're trying to do is really push limits with newer styles or hybrid styles of beer. I think the people of Eau Claire have ever-growing selection, and a lot of the breweries in this area are making some really great beers.
But they're sold as good as here too. So.
Right.
You must have gunpowder?
Yeah.
Around here, so that's the way it is.